Hi, my name is Jordan Korfman, and this is my presentation on Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a very infamous serial killer. A serial killer is defined as an individual who has killed 3 or more individuals on 3 or more separate occasions. These killings can take place over a course of days to years and will typically have something that connects them to the infamous person behind them. Ted Bundy is a notorious American serial killer who had confessed to killing at least 30 different women in the 1970s. Ted Bundy killed in Washington, Colorado, Oregon, Utah, and Florida. The public was fascinated but also horrified with the actions taken by this man, and his trial became extremely popularized. There were many early signs and characteristics that defined his crimes, and he was ultimately put to death by the electric chair in 1989. Ted was attracted to victims that were typically college-aged women, usually having long dark hair, parted in the center, along with fair skin. Bundy would rape his victims and then beat them to death. He was also known for pretending to be disabled or hurt and carried crutches to help lure his victims into his tan-colored Volkswagen. Towards the end of his years, Bundy went off track from his typical victims and began killing more women. The youngest and last known victim was 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. There are many theories on Ted and his killings and what drove him to this, and the reasoning behind it. The majority of serial killers are individuals who are very sexually motivated, and Ted is a prime example. Sexually motivated killers are known to rationally execute their crimes and have severe personality disorders. They also live separate lives where people often find them to be extremely normal. Sexually motivated serial killers will often prey on those who are vulnerable and use charm to do so. These killers are thought to kill in order to maintain an emotional need for power and typically have a sexual arousal in doing so. Ted was also known to be very careful and cunning when dealing with cleaning up his crimes and avoiding the police. There has also been much psychological analysis on Ted. Many of these analyses have led to multiple different conclusions. Ted was also determined by numerous specialists to be a psychopath. A psychopath is a category which falls under antisocial personality disorder, which often leads to individuals hurting others without any remorse or a sense of empathy towards them. Psychopaths can refer to individuals who use charm and manipulation as a way to get through life, and once again, don't feel any remorse for these people. Bundy was very determined, or he was determined to be a necrophiliac and also a sadist, meaning that he had sexual attraction to these dead bodies and found pleasure in causing other people harm. Society has dealt very heavily with this specific topic. Ted Bundy changed the way that many Americans viewed serial killers and crime in general. People were and still are very baffled by the fact that this man was able to live such a normal life, but also was taking part in such horrific crimes. This charm that he had that also led to the death of so many of his victims also captivated the general public, and people had a hard time believing that such a charming man could possibly rape and murder so many innocent women. Bundy also escaped from law enforcement on 2 separate occasions, and his case has led the American people and law enforcement alike to consider how you never really know the kind of person you're dealing with. Killers can appear to be the nicest humans in the world, but can also have the most disgusting traits. Bundy also led to an increase in behavior analysis within the FBI and changed how these individuals are looked at and understood. When dealing with serial killers, there is often many signs of deviant behavior their entire lives, and this can be true for Ted Bundy as well. It was discovered that he did possess many of these deviant characteristics, and that if they were recognized sooner, it may have prevented his reign of terror. Many hold the belief that Bundy began killing much earlier than proven, and likely began in his childhood or teenage years. Bundy grew up being told that his mother was actually his sister under the household with his grandparents. His grandmother was diagnosed with depression, and his grandfather is suspected to have abused him, which led to much childhood trauma. Bundy also was once caught surrounding his aunt with knives while she was sleeping, and his family did nothing to discourage his behavior or fear it. Continuing on, Bundy did not fit in with his classmates as a child. He was often bullied for a speech impediment and thought to be very awkward. He didn't have many friends or date much as a teen. As Bundy aged, his deviant behavior also did. Many people who participated in Boy Scouts with him said that he would hit them or set traps and liked to scare people. Bundy was also known to go into the woods and tear apart mice and other small animals, which is a trait found in many serial killers. Bundy also often stole things and stalked people and participated in voyeurism, a trait which many sexual offenders do possess. For my biblical application, I feel as though the Bible is very clear when stating God's stance on people who kill, and that these people do show an example of the evil that has been let upon the world due to sin. Revelation 21:8 states, But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for the murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all the liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is second death. And Leviticus 24:17 states, Whoever takes a human life shall surely be put to death. To conclude, Ted Bundy is a prime example of a serial killer and what they do. Bundy killed many and showed many behaviors of being a psychopath and sexual sadist, often murdering similar women and using similar tactics to do so. This case changed the way many people viewed serial killers and also has changed how people view different behaviors. Bundy very clearly showed signs throughout his entire childhood that showed deviant behavior which could have been acknowledged. Knowing these behaviors and acknowledging them can be vital in recognizing a killer and preventing more crimes from being committed. These are my references, and that is the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for listening.